There we go. All right. Welcome to the Soul's Kitchen podcast. I'm Lisa Wilby, and I'm with Sydney Milson. Is that right, Sydney? Your last name? I don't think I
Yeah,
ever knew your last name until tonight.
yeah, that is my
So,
last name.
so welcome. Sydney is a naturopathic doctor and owner of York County CrossFit. So, welcome, Sydney.
Thank you.
So, on the Soul's Kitchen podcast, I love to have conversations with people who are living their soul's purpose or desire. So you are a naturopathic doctor and owner of a really amazing gym that I happen to go to. And so I want to know, your story. Like, what obviously health means something to you.
Yeah, for sure.
So where did that begin for you?
Yeah, so I mean, CrossFit actually came first.
Okay,
Yeah, so
cool.
I was always into sports. Like,
Okay,
I figure skated my whole life. I played soccer. When I got into high school, I got into like more sports, but I also
okay,
started going to like it was like a garage with my dad. So I'm from
okay,
Miramichi. It was in Eel Ground, like on the First Nations Reserve. And it was just like maybe like six men and like two super jacked women and me and my dad. The class was called Meatheads.
meatheads. That
Meatheads.
is
And it was
pretty
like what you would
cool.
imagine. It was like
I
heavy
can
metal
just
rock
imagine.
music, kettlebells, but like something that I wasn't used to before because I always
Mm,
like I ran, I played sports, like I
right.
did for like Jillian Michaels DVDs, like that
Okay.
kind of stuff. So I really liked it. And then that gym eventually turned into a CrossFit gym, which is still CrossFit Pound in Miramichi.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
Cool.
where my love of like fitness started.
Okay.
So I would have been like 14 at the time. I don't think I didn't want to be a naturopath. Like
Mm,
that wasn't like a goal of mine. I definitely wanted to go more into like maybe like sports, like physio or something like that, like athletic
okay.
therapy. Um, and I definitely like wanted to own a gym when I was in high school.
Okay.
But then
Was
I
it
went
because of meatheads? You wanted to
because
like
yeah, because it was just like the owner at the time was like, you go to school, like go take your kinesiology degree, and then we'll open another bigger spot. We'll have a
right.
physio clinic, do it all. And I was like, yeah, that would be
Cool.
awesome. And then, you go to school and then you're like, okay, well, I have to have a career and a job. And
Mm-hmm.
um, all my friends, so I took kinesiology, which is a great degree and you learn a lot, but it's not a degree that like hands you a job at the end of school.
Right. Okay.
It is like, what are you going to do now?
Right.
um, yeah.
Would you
So
have to have a kinesiology to get into physiotherapy, or is that something different?
Yeah, kinesiology is probably one of the
Okay.
more common ones, or like a Bachelor of Science, like something
Right.
like
Okay. Okay.
that. What you can be with a kinesiology degree, I mean, you could be a kinesiologist, but even
Right.
that's not even a regulated like profession in New Brunswick.
Right.
Like
Okay.
in Ontario, it is and stuff.
Okay.
So it's not like it's a useful degree for like learning, but not for getting a job.
Right.
So a lot of my friends like went on to like take nursing.
Right.
Some went back and took like medical lab tech degrees or like X-ray
Okay.
technician degrees, like something in the like field of
In that field. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I had gone to see a naturopathic doctor when I was younger, so I was like familiar with it, and I was kind of like that would be cool. I was a big fan of Grey's Anatomy, but I didn't want to go that way
That
of
way.
medicine. I really like the idea of like looking at the body as like a whole person
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of like all the pillars of health, right? Uh,
Right.
especially like in relation to like fitness. So I was in between going to do nursing and going to do that, and I applied to, so there's only two schools in Canada. There's one in Toronto, which is the one that I
Mm-hmm.
went to, and then there's one in BC, which was just too far away for
Wow.
me.
Right. Yeah.
I applied and I got in right away, and then I didn't even think about nursing after that. So
You just went for it.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. And was it everything you thought it was going to be, or more?
It's funny because now I've been out of school for 3 years, and it was
Only 3 years. Okay.
yeah, only 3
Wow.
years because it was
Uh,
4 years of school there also.
Right.
Yeah, so it was an experience. Like I've never been away from home, so being in
Okay.
Toronto, I was still like I was with my husband. My now husband was like my
Okay.
boyfriend at the time. He was in law school here, so like we were apart for 4 years, which was like,
Okay. Hard. Yeah.
and the course load, like, so I was a really good student in high school. In undergrad, I spent a lot of time coaching at the gym. I wasn't like
Okay.
I was a good student, but I wasn't like a great student.
Okay.
And then the course load at the naturopathic college, like we would take like 12 courses a semester. So that was a big adjustment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like pretty stressful. Obviously, COVID happened during the middle of all that. So
Okay.
that was tough because Toronto like shut down. We were back and forth a lot. But I had a CrossFit gym there. So
So you started going to the CrossFit gym there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that
So
like
I'll tell
your,
you kind of
yeah.
like the history of my
Yeah.
CrossFit experience. So I started with my dad in Miramichi,
Right.
like did that all through high school, loved it. I moved here, and at the time there was a gym called CrossFit Biometrics.
Mhm.
The stickers are still in the window. It was located by like the Grand Harvey Center.
Okay.
Like Bella Line building used to be down there. Like I
Okay.
forget what the road's called. I think it's called Wilsey Road.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or anyways,
Anyway,
it's in
yeah.
that area. So I started there. Um, Actually, I think I moved here and I didn't have a car. And I
Okay.
didn't know how I was going to get there. And I like begged my parents for a vehicle because
Right.
I really wanted to go to the CrossFit gym. Um, so I got a vehicle and I started going to CrossFit Biometrics. And then it was in the spring. So my end of my first year, so like April 2015, I went to Moncton. I took the CrossFit Level 1 course, which
Okay.
the CrossFit Level 1 course is like, here, this is what CrossFit is, and take this course, and like you can go teach CrossFit. So I
Okay.
took that and I moved home for the summer, and I basically started practicing coaching CrossFit
Mhm.
at CrossFit Pound
Mhm.
in Miramichi. Came back for my second year. CrossFit Biometrics had like an internship program, so I basically come learn from us. You don't have to pay for your membership, which was like perfect as a student.
Right.
And then, by December, I was like a coach there. So then I coached
Wow.
at Biometrics for my 4 years or 3 more years that I was here. Um, I like got pretty heavily involved in it. At one point, the owners at the time they wanted to sell it, and there was me. One of my friends was like our like social media manager,
Right.
and another guy who was like the head coach. We actually all got offered to buy it at one point.
Okay.
I was 20 and I was like, oh my, like,
Right.
I was like, I can't own a business. Like, I'm in school to go, like,
Yeah.
um, so I just think that's funny. And then I left there, moved to Toronto. I immediately knew that I had to go find a gym because I had already gone through the experience of coming to Fredericton and not having a gym and being like,
Okay.
so I like had scouted out where I was going to go. So it was a gym that was only like 2 kilometers from my school. But when I was in Toronto, I didn't have a car, so I just like
Well, you don't
trans-
need a yeah, you don't need a car in Toronto.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, where the school is located, it's kind of like up
Okay,
at
maybe easier.
401, so it's a little
Right.
more busing and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I started there just as a member because I was like, I'm in this deep coursework now. Like, I have no time. I'm just gonna work out. And that lasted for like about a month. Someone found out that I coached, and the owner at the time was like, why haven't you sent me your resume yet? So I started coaching there, which was a really good experience because I had kind of like learned a few things, and I was in
Mhm.
my kin degree and stuff, but they had a higher standard of coaching that I had
Mm.
never
Okay.
experienced here. So that was good. And then I was signed up to take my CrossFit level 2, which we actually just hosted for our coaches this weekend.
Right. Okay.
So CrossFit level 1 is like, what is CrossFit?
Right.
CrossFit level 2 is like, how do you coach CrossFit? How do you run like an effective class?
Okay.
So that was going to be in March of 2020. And of course, then everything shut down.
Right.
So at this point, I came back home because school was like closed. Everything went virtual for the rest of the year. I didn't go back until the fall. And then even then we were like kind of back and forth. There was a lot of stuff, which was really hard with that Atlantic bubble that we had, because every time I left, I had to come back and quarantine. And honestly, I kind of got out of CrossFit. Like I would do a little bit in my garage at my parents' when I was home, because gyms were closed. But when I went back to Toronto, like everything was really shut down for a long time. So I actually let all my certifications expire because like I was supposed to take that course. They gave me an extension with the circumstances, and then everything expired. I started my 4th year in June of 2021. We went for like a whole year. And at the time I told like the owner, I was like, you know what, I'm done coaching CrossFit. Like I have this professional career ahead of me. Like I have to focus on like my internship year. Like, and he was like, okay. And so I had wrote my first board exam in August. I think as soon as I was done, I was like, oh, okay. And I went back and started coaching again in September. So then I coached for the remainder of the year. And that was kind of the year of my last year of school where he kept saying like, you know, when you move home, like you should open a gym. And I was like, no, like my husband has a job. Like I'm going to have this job. Like we got lots going on. Like I'm not going to open a gym. So I moved home. We got married right after school. I wrote my last board exam in August. And then like my last board exam was in Toronto. So August 2022, we were driving home and we were like, okay, we're going to look at spaces. Like maybe we'll open a gym, because being home, I was like, oh, I didn't have that space that I had when I was there that I really liked. And there was a few different gyms, like CrossFit Biometrics was still here at the time. It wasn't quite the same as what it used to be. And I felt like I could create something that like I was looking for and that other people were looking for that like wasn't here. So we kind of talked about it in August. It was Labor Day weekend in September. There was like a Facebook Market post. I remember she was like, equipment for sale. So it was this lady that I knew from like, her and her husband had owned a gym out west. They had moved back. They had it in the garage. They like divorced or something. She was getting rid of all this equipment, and it was like med balls. Like if you see the orange medicine balls at our gym, like her gym, because her gym was an orange like CrossFit equipment. And it was like a pretty good deal. And I was like, well, if we're gonna do this, let's go buy the stuff. So we went and we bought her stuff, and then we were like, okay, I guess, you know, we just spent like $5,000 on equipment. So start, like, we're gonna do this. And then we just kept looking at spaces. So my husband's name is Bryce. We would drive around like every industrial park. That's what we did on the weekends, just kind of looking like, you know, where can we find space? Because like a CrossFit gym kind of belongs in an industrial space because you need room. And you don't want to pay like downtown Fredericton.
No, definitely not.
You know, especially when you have that much space. So we actually have found a space that was a few streets over. It was much smaller. The lease itself was like much more appealing because it wasn't as expensive. And like I think we were about to sign the lease, and I think I was all for it, and I think Bryce was like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, so then again, Facebook Marketplace, our building was listed on there. We went and looked at it, and I was like, this is huge. At the time, how many members, like, but then the kind of like talking about more, I was like, oh, like, it makes more sense, you know. It was
Right.
a 3-year lease, and we could grow into it, and we wouldn't be like, you know, stuck at the. I think the other place was going to be 3 years too, but it was only like, I don't know, like 1,400 square feet, so it was half the
Right.
size of our gym now.
Oh, too small. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was October 2022. We decided like, okay, we're gonna open, we're gonna try to get this space. We had to do a lot of renovations to our space
Okay.
now to get it up to like the fire safety
All
code.
that codes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was fun. So we also had to wait for Hamel Planning to say, yes, you can have a gym here because it's not actually zoned for a gym.
I see. Okay.
So I think it was like October 22nd. They said, yep, you can put your gym here, but you need to do like X, Y, and Z. So my dad is a contractor.
Okay.
We spent every like from Friday afternoon till Sunday night. Every weekend they were here and we did all the renovations, and then we opened December 1st.
Wow.
It was crazy. My
So,
dad was like limping around our apartment.
so it sounds like you were like I'm getting the sense that you were kind of hesitant, but you were doing it anyway.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Yeah.
And then like once we did open in December, at the time it was just me coaching. We had like a 5:30, 6:30 a.m. class, and I think we had like a 5 p.m. We had like 3 classes. And you know, like you get up like the like 10th 5 a.m. in a row, and I was like, why did I do this? Like,
Okay.
why didn't I just stick with my
Right.
like normal 9 to 5 job? But um you know, I think that's just the like imposter syndrome of like,
Yeah,
am I
probably.
doing it right? Like, you know, are we
But you
gonna
got people to sign up. People were signing up.
people
Like
were
how did
signing up. Yeah.
okay.
I
And
did I mean, I had the benefit of I worked in the CrossFit space here for quite some time.
right. Okay. So you knew
Yeah.
people, you knew how to kind of
Yeah.
get the word out,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still sensing this hesitancy, but you kept kind of like doing it. And
Yeah.
now, but you were also doing your naturopathy work as
Yeah. So
well.
I started at, which was a new clinic at the time. My friend Megan Oxford, she owns East N.B.
Okay.
And so she had just opened that. I started working there. So it was like trying to get new patients in the door and,
Get your
you know,
CrossFit gym going.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
which was kind of fun because we were both like in it together a little bit, you know, like
Yeah.
she was starting her business and obviously I was part of it and
Right.
I was starting mine. And then I think by like February, so like about 3 months in, you know, we had enough members that we
Okay.
were not like losing money, and I was like, okay. And then it just took off.
Wow. And
And
how
we
did you
just
get more coaches? Like you got, because I'm going to guess, and I don't know, so correct me
yeah.
if I'm wrong. There was a CrossFit, little bit of a CrossFit scene here, but not a huge one. Or am I
No,
wrong?
it had kind of dwindled down. Like at
Okay.
one point there was two. So CrossFit Fredericton was a gym. It used to be in the Crown Plaza.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and I feel like they opened like mid 2000s, like 2007. Like they have been open for a
Right.
while. And you know, from that gym came CrossFit Biometrics, and I mean, you could say our gym came from there because that's
Okay.
where I had gone. Um, but yeah, there wasn't quite a big CrossFit scene at the
No.
time. And I think when I opened it too, I was like, oh, everyone that I knew that I used to do CrossFit will just come back. But the opposite happened. It was actually like people that had never done CrossFit were like, there's a CrossFit gym
Right.
because we were paying the affiliation to be able to advertise CrossFit.
Okay.
And no one at the time, there was no actual, like CrossFit Biometrics had got rid of CrossFit and they were
Okay.
just biometrics.
Fine. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
as soon as you like were able to bring that word back in, people were like, well, that's what I always wanted to try CrossFit. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, so talk to me about the coaching a little bit because I feel like yours is probably the most least intimidating gym that I've ever been to, and I was scared to death to go.
Yeah.
So there's something that you guys are doing that's different.
Yeah.
Is that
What did you think? because I know everyone has this idea of CrossFit. And so, like, what did you think was going to happen when you walked in?
Well, that I wasn't gonna be fit enough, that it was gonna be too much for me, that I
Yeah.
was not gonna, all of those usual fears, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
your coaching style is so encouraging and so great, and I didn't feel intimidated at all, which is what kept me coming back.
With you coming back.
And
Yeah.
the free trial didn't hurt either, so I was trying
Yeah.
to say that I'm sure that that must work,
Yeah. I
you
always
know?
am like, I can't explain to you what's going to happen when you get there. You just need to come see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a friend, gave it to me, and it took me 3 months to even go because I was busy. And
Hmm.
I said, "All right, now I'm gonna dedicate, like, part of my life to fitness, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go, and I'm really gonna, like, give it a try," and I haven't stopped since.
Yeah.
So, but what about your coaching style? What's different? Because something's different.
Yeah. I think what it is, so the way I learned to coach CrossFit, um, like I was always a very like friendly coach. I feel like I
Yes.
was knowledgeable, but I was more or less being like, this is a thing, now go try it. And then when I went to Toronto, I kind of learned of like, okay, you need to teach someone something like one part at a time so that they can
Yeah.
understand it and so that you can actually like see and correct that one thing
Okay.
kind of
Right.
thing. And then I would say the thing that we do really well is we call it, we kind of call them bus stops or progressions, but
Okay.
okay, this is the journey. Like, here's where we start, and like, here's the ultimate goal, right?
Okay.
But I can't just say, well, if you can't do this, then you're just going to do this. So we
Right.
try to make steps, right? Of like,
Yeah.
so that you still get like a small win because you're one step
Mm.
closer to
Mhm.
getting that, growing muscle up or something. So we kind of call them like, we usually call them bus stops, right? Where you want to have
Okay.
multiple options for people to get off,
Right.
and
Or just
maybe sometimes
yeah.
they can go stop further and then they can go back. Um, so yeah, I think that's one thing where it's not just like, we're either going to do toes to bar or you're going to do sit ups. It's like, well, you could do arch to hollow, or you could do, whereas when I started CrossFit, it was like, okay, if you can't do pull ups, you just do ring rows. But then,
I
like, there's
see.
no
There's
gap.
nothing in between. Yeah.
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 Yeah. That was definitely one thing I learned, which is actually the methodology of CrossFit. It's just that not everyone like does it
Was
that
doing
way.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so CrossFit is a certain so what is the philosophy, I guess, behind CrossFit that attracted you to it?
Yeah. I think just doing it, right? I
Yeah.
didn't know the philosophy of it. Okay, I
Okay.
actually forgot, Lisa.
Okay.
The whole reason, so I took my level 1, right? And then I
Yes.
never had to take my level 2. And then um CrossFit Pound in
Where was
June
she?
of or
Yeah.
May or June of 2022. Right? I finished school, I was home, I was studying for my board exams, planning my wedding, whatever. They were hosting a CrossFit level 1.
Mm.
It was the first like CrossFit Indigenous level 1, but they didn't get enough people signed up.
Okay.
So the owner, Brad, messages me and says, it's free. Like, do you want to come? Because I had
Mhm.
the one expired. Like, I didn't
Right. That's
have
right.
it anymore. And that was when I went to that and I got to rehear what I had learned like five, like, I guess 7 years ago at the time,
Mhm.
of like what is CrossFit, that I was like,
Okay.
oh, I really love this. Like,
Okay.
this is what I want to do. So that was kind of, I think, when I first started to think about it again. Because
Okay.
that gym owner in Toronto had been like telling me to open it, and I was like, sounds like a lot of work. But then when I reheard
Mm.
it, so what I love about it is that, one, it's like fitness over a lifetime. Like,
Mhm.
the goal of CrossFit is like to have the greatest area under the curve over your lifetime of fitness, right? So
Mm.
it's not that I'm, can lift the most now, but also like when I'm older, I'm also fit. And I also like that it encompasses like health. So if you actually get really into the CrossFit, there's like a sickness, wellness, fitness continuum, and kind of how like, okay, if we can get you more towards fitness where like your cholesterol is really in check and your blood pressure is really great and your resting heart rate's really,
Okay.
then like if life happens or something happens and we move backwards a bit, it's okay because we're still in the wellness zone, not in
Gotcha.
the fitness zone. So it really
Okay.
aligned with like a lot of like, you know, what I learned at school, but just in like really simple, not super medical terms kind of thing.
Right. Okay. I didn't know that. This is good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nutrition is a big part of CrossFit and something that we definitely need to like talk about more and implement at the gym.
Okay. I was going to, because I know you've had some talks there, but I was going to ask if there was going to be a nutrition talk, because that's sort of one area
Yeah.
where I struggle. Like, I'm pretty healthy eater, but I don't know what to eat
Yeah.
before or after the workouts to help
To
me.
help. Yeah.
But yeah,
And I
but
think, I mean, just in today's world, there's just so much information.
this
It's
is
like,
true.
wow.
And you being a naturopathic doctor, like, what a beautiful, marriage of keeping people fit. And because I do see there's a lot of joy at your gym, which is what
Mhm.
also attracts me, I think, because it's not intimidating. There's lots of women there. There's lots of people there, all shapes and sizes and ages, which is another
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
really different. So I really enjoy it. I want to thank you for opening this gym, and I thank my friend Isabel who, you
Who
know,
brought you?
brought
Yeah.
me, because it really is a great gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, we had to write a business plan, right? Because we had to get
Okay.
loans and
Yeah.
stuff. And one of our main goal and mission that I had wrote down was just to get everyone that's not exercising to come exercise. You
Right.
know, I didn't like it's cool and I love when we get some like super fit people in there doing really cool things. But like to me, there's nothing better than like the person that's like, you know, I didn't realize how unhappy I was until I started moving, or like
Yeah.
I had all this pain and now I don't, or like, you know, the confidence, like the
Yeah, it
confidence
does
that
build.
people, yeah,
It is a confident. You're right. And it has changed like my life, honestly. Yeah, in many ways. So, but the way you guys do it, this is why I was so curious to talk to you. It's very different than other gyms. You put a lot more time, and your coaching is amazing because you guys are right there. Nobody gets hurt. You
hmm
look at everyone's body and, help them do it the right way. Um, and you're very encouraging,
yeah, yeah. I
which is
mean,
good.
it's also just a testament to like the like. So we had this moment this weekend where like so all of my coaches took the level 2 except for Devin. She was at a
Okay,
dash, which just sounds super fun, but she's
that's
taking it
fine.
in 2 weeks. But
Okay.
she had major FOMO, I'm sure, from missing the weekend.
Yeah.
So we had, you know, Matt, Spencer, Nick,
Yeah.
Megan, my sister, and Julia all take the level 2.
Okay.
And um, I don't think it's very often where you get all 6 people from one gym taking it together.
Okay.
But I really want them to take it because when I took it a few years ago, it was a great experience. And I wanted them to do it together, and you know,
Yeah.
and you can
Team
talk about it.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the instructors kind of like told them like, you know, it's not often that we see this kind of group together,
Mm.
and like you can tell that you guys like really hold each other to a high standard of coaching, and like you have really something really
Mm-hmm.
special.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear all this because I was out talking to someone else when I came back in, and we were all just kind of staying in a circle. And I was like, you know, like I'm really lucky because I just have like these 7 like really good people
Mm-hmm.
who really care about, like they care about people, but they also care about like making sure that they get a good service, and like
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's hard to find.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, do you have like a mission or a vision? Like you said, you wrote a business plan. So did you have like a vision in your business plan and of who you were looking for as coaches because of the quality that you had experienced and wanted to
Yeah.
give?
I mean, someone had told me before of like you can't teach someone how to care, but you can teach them,
No,
you know, you can teach them anything else.
this is so
So
true.
when I was looking for people, so Spencer was the first to come on. He had been coaching.
Okay.
And I mean, if you know Spencer, he just loves to be around people,
Yeah.
And I find he gets really excited for people and stuff. And then obviously my sister,
Yeah.
who is like such an amazing coach now. And if you would have asked me like 3 years ago, like if she would even coach, because I'm the oldest, she's the
Okay.
middle. I've always been like the loud, bossy one, and
Okay.
but she's come into such a big voice of her own now just from coaching. And
Yeah.
that's what I like to see too, because the way that we coach our athletes and the way that I coach my coaches, like I get to see them also get more confident.
Right.
So that's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
because you see them now, but I wish you could have seen them 2 years ago. Like, they've come so far, just like
I
as
bet.
people in
Yeah.
their voices and stuff. Yeah.
Well, if they're still with you too, that says a lot. So there
Yeah.
you can feel that like sense of team
Yeah.
and
I
love for
think
what they do. And
that's important, right?
yeah,
Because, like, if you feel like
absolutely.
you're a part of something bigger, like, you're going to do a better job.
And you're also changing people's lives, and I think they see
Yeah.
that too. So that must
Yeah.
be, I don't know how many testimonials you get, or you must see it in people's results, like the test week that you did last week.
Yeah. And we get
So
emails every now and then. I share with them of like,
yeah.
because some days are hard where like you coach 16 people and it feels chaotic and you're like, oh,
Oh, I
did I do a good job? And then like you get a message and you're like, oh, that meant a lot to
yeah.
someone. So
No, I think that's great. I
yeah.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm addicted. It's my new addiction.
Training addiction.
Well, I don't want to have an
Um,
addiction, but yeah, it's not a bad one to
it's
have.
an addiction. It's a good habit.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So now moving forward, I'm I'm basically kind of creating the dream that I wanted when I was younger of blending like having a health clinic and the gym together.
Okay. So is that going to happen?
Yeah, so we are in the process of building, which I don't did you know that?
You kind of mentioned it to me
No.
a little bit, and then yeah, I feel
Yeah,
yeah,
so at one point the gym got so busy, so it would have
it is
been like
busy.
the summer of I think it was the summer of 2023. So I hadn't
Mhm.
quite been at East Indy for a year. I sat down with Meg, who owns East Indy, and I was like, I think I'm not gonna do this. Like I was coaching the morning class, going to
Right.
see patients, going back to coach more classes, and I just like I could feel that I was burning out.
Right.
Um, and then also because you're sitting one on one talking with someone, trying to get a good health history, and then you're trying to provide like a personal connection. Like it was too much in one day for me.
Okay.
Like feel like I
Yeah.
was actually genuinely able to listen to someone again. Like I'd come home and be like, "Don't talk to me. Like
Yeah.
I can't talk anymore. I'm done."
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of told her I was done. I think I stayed on until January of last year, January of 2024.
2024.
I
Okay.
stopped practicing.
Okay.
And then I plan to start up on my own online like one day a week. And that took forever. I did eventually start this past December.
Okay.
I have some availability in my schedule. I don't advertise it very much. I
Okay.
see a few people, but I'm building a new clinic in the gym,
Okay.
which I will work at a little bit. But I've realized in owning business, I also just really like business. So I'm trying to create more of like a hands off for myself kind of health clinic in the gym.
And facilitate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, you're getting to do what you love, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And
And
you're also
I'm learning more about what I actually do like
what
to.
you love. I was just going to say, and your sounds like you are figuring out what you like. And sometimes you have to figure out what you don't want to do and
Yeah.
help you get to what you want to
Usually,
do.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and congratulations on all your coaches are great. Is there anything you want to tell people about the gym that we haven't said,
What
or
you said.
how to find York County CrossFit?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think just
it's worth the drive.
what I like to tell people is that I mean, I'm biased, and I obviously think
Yeah,
that
but I think it's great.
doing CrossFit is one of the best forms of fitness because you improve your VO2 max and your cardiorespiratory fitness, but you also get some strength and muscle mass. And if you really like it, you're going to go all the time. But I always
Yeah.
tell people, if you don't like CrossFit, which is fine,
Mm-hmm.
just like find a movement,
Do
like
something
activity that you like, because the best movement for you is just something you'll
you
do
like.
all the time.
Yeah.
If you don't like CrossFit, it's not good for you, because then you won't go.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
like it. One of the reasons I like it is I get bored easily because if
Yeah.
you do the same thing every day,
Yeah.
so this is like every day is different
Yeah.
every day. So I never
Yeah.
get bored.
And when you get good at something, then there's like, okay, try the next thing now.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think, have we covered it? I think we've covered everything. Is there anything
Most of
else you want
everything.
to say about
I
the
can say a little
gym?
bit about, I guess, with the new space.
Yeah, sure. Tell us about the new space. Sorry.
Yeah, so the new space is going to be bigger because
Okay.
sometimes it's a little crowded. It's going to have an HVAC system, so we won't be as
Okay.
sweaty all the time.
Okay.
But so basically, the main level is going to be the gym, and then there's a part that's 2 stories, which will have the health clinic. And my health clinic is called For Health, just FOR. I
Okay.
hummed and hawed about like what I would call it, but I was like, everything that's in the clinic is like
For
for
health.
health. So I
Right.
was like, that makes sense. It was nice because when I started the gym, I branded everything myself because you have no money and you're just like,
Yeah, but it's good. It's really cool, like the
yeah.
way you've done it. The
But then
name.
with the For Health clinic, I paid someone to brand it because
Okay, great.
I
Someone.
don't have
Okay.
as much time anymore.
Okay.
So in the process of building that, I really want it to be a place where like people can get education and like ongoing health support that is not just like this is what you need to do, kind of like with the gym of like this is what you need to do and why, and so that you
Right.
feel like you have the tools to take care of your health.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like I always say, so like with any of my patients, I never give like a meal plan because that doesn't teach you anything.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
I'd rather teach you how to build your own plan for yourself.
Okay.
Because
Right.
if I give you a meal plan today, like what are you going to do in 20 years with it,
Right. You
Whereas
want to learn about what it means.
yeah,
Yeah.
and why. I'm hoping to have some registered dietitians. I'm hoping to have some nurse practitioners,
Oh,
especially
wow.
because in New Brunswick, nurse
Yes.
practitioners are being more readily used.
Yeah.
And I think in 2026, there's some changes coming where they can kind of work a bit more privately too. Obviously, we'll have some massage therapists and stuff.
I was just going to say, because that would be like,
Need that.
you know what I'm thinking, and forgive me, but it's like a one-stop garage for fitness and health.
Yeah.
Like you could do
Yeah.
that for your car.
Yeah.
You can take your car to the body shop.
Yeah.
Go, this is amazing that we could do this now for ourselves. This is
Yeah.
awesome. I love this.
And we're gonna have a sauna, which I'm very excited.
Amazing.
Yeah. We kind of went back and forth of like, is it gonna be a single sauna or whatever? We just like, I was like, everyone's so close. We'll just do a group sauna, and whoever's there,
Whatever.
your
Yeah.
crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll have some coffee in the building. So
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that after.
we do have to talk about that. I'm like, all the things that I love,
Yeah.
health,
Sure.
fitness, community. So
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And when is this going to happen, or do you know yet?
I mean, it's in the process.
In the process. Okay.
Like with any project, it's super exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Yes.
And there's always roadblocks, and so
Yeah.
we're kind of at a roadblock right now. But just everything moves eventually. It's just to be patient with it and stuff.
Yeah.
We are hoping to be done this year.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll keep tabs on it.
Yeah. My health clinic probably more like early next year, just because
Right.
we gotta kind of get the gym running in the building before,
Yeah,
more into it.
that's
But
amazing. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, congratulations on all of the success that you're having now and the future
Well, I'm so
success.
glad you're a part of it,
Yeah,
Lisa.
me too. So I'm going to ask you some questions that
Okay.
I've been asking everybody. Um, uh, so what is something that you once was a belief that you no longer believe?
Hmm. I'd love to hear people's answers on this too.
Yeah, well, they're in the podcast.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and listen.
You have to watch some of them or subscribe to the YouTube channel. So
Yeah. I think I would say just that life has to look a certain way.
right. Oh, I love
You know what
that.
I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think I really thought, like, okay, go to school, get a job, do
right.
this.
You were saying that, and now
And
look at your life.
even now that I have this, like, business and, like, my life
Mhm.
could still be different. Like, I
Yes.
could still, I could still move to Europe for a year, So
And do
I feel
whatever
like
you
that's
want.
something that I've really changed my look on of, like,
Yes. That's
because
amazing.
you hear it all the time. I've heard like some of my parents' friends, not my parents. My parents they'll do what they want to do, but other
Right.
people's parents say like, "Oh, I wish I was your age. It's so fun when you're your age because you have so many options of what life's gonna look like." But I'm like, well, that's any age really.
It
So
is. It is
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I like that. That's a great answer.
yeah.
Another one is, what is something that you're doing now that your younger self would be proud of?
Running the gym.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much everything you're
yeah.
doing.
I think it's funny because I really was like, I'm not gonna own a business. I actually did a talk at UNB for the entrepreneur class, which if you would have told me when I went to UNB that I was gonna do a talk on entrepreneurship,
Right.
I would have been like, what? No, I wouldn't have a job. So yeah,
Awesome.
running the business for sure.
Right. Okay. Just two more questions. You're
Yeah.
doing really well, by the way. Um, well, because this is called the Soul's Kitchen podcast, so my background is kind of cooking, which is where
Mm-hmm.
that came
Mm-hmm.
from. But I really want to passionate about having these conversations with people. So, what
Mm-hmm.
would you say is like an ingredient for life? Like, it doesn't have to be food, like something like a theme or something that keeps popping up for your ingredient for your life
For my life
or for life.
or for life? Ooh. I would say consistency in the way of
Mm,
like
I like it.
to consistently like show up for your health,
Yes.
consistently do the things that scare
Move.
you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a theme where I've gotten pretty good with fitness because, I have the gym, so like I always
Mhm.
show up, but then like, okay, can I consistently like go outside? Can I consistently go to
Right.
bed? Can I
Right.
consistently do some things that scare me or hang out with my friends? Like I think
Mhm.
that's kind of something I'm always striving for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
I like that.
consistency club, that's
Yeah.
like that whole board.
Oh, that's good because it is over the long term,
Yeah.
more important than just doing a burst of something for a while and then never doing it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay. So, and then just a personal just for myself, I'm doing like a
Mhm.
tally. Do you eat
Yeah.
with a fork or a spoon?
Oh God. Okay, is this crazy? Sometimes because I really like to make salads, but I put wild rice in them sometimes.
Okay.
I'll actually have both, just so
Okay.
that I can
That's
finish it
cool.
after.
Okay, good. I asked because I love to eat with a spoon, and I will eat a salad with a spoon if I can. I just like to
Yeah,
eat with a
especially if you
spoon in a
chop
bowl.
everything up enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And people are always like, "You eat with a spoon?" I'm like, "Yeah, why
yeah,
wouldn't you?" But anyways,
yeah.
I'm just
I
curious.
probably mostly eat with spoons for sure.
Okay. Okay, good. Another spoon eater.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, Sydney. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. It's been lovely to get to know you and your story. I love it. I love
Yes.
that.
Thanks, Lisa.
And I will link when I post this. We'll be linking the gym and other things. and maybe the email. I'll put the email for the
Yeah, we
trip.
can even put anything so people know how to find us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Okay, awesome.
Okay,
Thank you,
awesome.
Sydney.
Thanks.
Okay.